Well, hello. It's Margie, MissChess.com. This is an attempt to collect my back wages from Chess.com. It syncs up in a minute. Let's see what we're doing here. I wrote a little song. It's for my Broadway play. One of the songs. This one's called I Have Not Forgotten. No, I have not forgotten that you treated me rotten. I think about it every day. No, I have not forgotten that you treated me rotten, and I will get my pay. It's kind of catchy. Kind of a toe tapper. Anyway, I have an essay written in 2013. I wish I'd known about it. It's called Why I Quit My Dream Job. It's also about chess.com. Oh dear. What is going on? That was right before I started working at chess.com, and I did not know about this essay, but I do know I wasn't paid for my work. I learned about this essay well after the fact, and it just happens to confirm my own conclusions. So we see, it was on the Living Revolution blog, Why I Quit My Dream Job, from August 6, 2013. Hold on now. All right, let's see if we can get this done. Oh, yes, this will be fun. For 4 years, I worked a job with so many good aspects, educating people, entertaining people, being creative, working in a field that I love and am an expert in. Fun coworkers with similar interests, flexible hours, the ability to work from anywhere, good compensation, constant flattering feedback that almost anyone would call it a dream job. And so it came as a shock to many of my friends, coworkers, and customers when I quit. Initially, Chess.com had no income, and thus there was no question of how to divide it. But in 2011 and 2012, the company did extremely well. How was our hefty income distributed? In 2012, we had about 35 full-time employees, 8 owners, 7 of whom were employees, and dozens of contractors. If we leave out Chess.com's second co-founder, the CEO took home as much in 2012 as the other 30-plus full-time employees. While the other employee owners, including myself, had sizable incomes, most of Chess.com's employees were compensated far below what they deserved. As I grew more aware of the developing exploitation of our workers, I was sickened. The possibility reared its head that the primary goal of the company was not to create the greatest chess site for the world, but to create the greatest profit for one person. I hoped this was not the case. For years, I had thought the CEO was my friend, a man with values different from most corporate executives. He had once agreed it seemed a good idea to have a maximum ratio between the highest and lowest salaries in a company, suggesting the ratio should be between 5 and 10. Now, in our company, that number exceeded 40. Did this not trouble him? No. I pleaded for respect and fair compensation, suggesting multiple mechanisms for the company to share its profits with the fantastic people who created them. And my requests were quite modest. For example, I was willing to work for 1/4 of my previous pay if the company would share 1% of its profits among its workers. All were rejected. It became clear that the status quo was indeed what he wanted, and that it would not be changing. There is an interesting argument that continuing my work would provide value to millions, while the numbers in one person's bank account are of little consequence. Much as I long for a day where the numbers in bank accounts are as meaningless as those in video games. We currently live in a world where money is largely interchangeable with power. I further consider concentrations of power to be the greatest threat to humankind. This contention is the subject of a future essay. To expend the greater part of my time and energy increasing the concentration of money and power in a single pair of hands seems like an extremely dangerous occupation. So regretfully, I had to walk away from the co-workers, friends, chess lovers, and projects that I so loved. How is it that a wonderful group project with 50 plus people working on it and millions actively engaged in the community should be used for this purpose of a single person's enrichment? The answer lies in the structure of the economy and the corporation specifically. Chess.com has a single person who can make any decision he pleases, the CEO, regardless of anyone else's opinion, and a single person who chooses that CEO, the majority owner, the same person. In other corporations, there may be a small group of 2 or 3 owners who amongst themselves hold decision-making sway. This means lack of accountability, lack of input from many people, conflict of interest, and almost no check upon selfishness and corruption. And so throughout the economy, we see bosses and their buddies setting their own compensation arbitrarily high, while relegating the vast majority of the workers to poverty. Within our present legal framework, there is no recourse. The law is written by and for the few wealthy and powerful individuals, so its goal is merely to perpetuate the situation where one person dominates many. In retrospect, I can only regret the damage I have done, wishing I had not fallen for the typical, quote, the boss is your friend, unquote, trick, and that I'd been more savvy about the horrors that are corporations. I have felt for months that I owed this explanation to the people I worked with, and for over the last 4 years, its publication was postponed for a long time. Because when I left, I was sad, upset, insulted, disappointed, and angry. I did not want to do anything based on those feelings, so I waited and considered at length how to communicate this message. Even when lies were posted on chess.com, I held my tongue. I needed to be sure of my feelings, thoughts, and expression. One important question I had to resolve was, could we, the various stakeholders in chess.com, do anything to save the site from its owner? I've spent months reflecting upon this question without coming up with any satisfying answer. My ideas and hopes seem unrealistic. I think any number of letters from customers, co-workers, and co-owners would fall upon a pair of deaf ears. I think my co-workers do not have the economic independence to leave and start over without the boss. Still, I hope one day to help build an online chess community without a greedy overlord. The end. I need to be paid for my work. Thank you. I'm not an idiot, and I'm a professional, and I know what's what. Now, I don't know why you're being so mean to me and not paying me, but it isn't right. And I did all kinds of work for you, and sometimes got paid a quarter of my hours. And that's ridiculous. And that's why I left. And I object. And I need the owners of chess.com to step up and do the right thing. And even the Mrs. CEO of chess.com, who thinks women should thrive at work and be treated well and all the rest, which I wasn't. Now that you've reformed, wonderful. Wonderful, but I still am owed my pay. Have a nice day. And it so happens I got the top grade in business law, and I happen to know I was officially an employee. Be happy to put some of these graphs up here to let people know I know what I'm talking about. And it's outrageous that the CEO himself, I said, I just want to be paid for my work. And he told me that my unpaid work was volunteer. He considers my unpaid work volunteer. No, it is not volunteer. I don't work for millionaires and billionaires, sir, for free. My labor is not free. You pay yourselves quite handsomely, as we know. And just FYI to everybody, the owner who wrote this essay here is doing just fine and is still affiliated with the company and I'm just sparing his name. People in the know. But they reconciled. They're going to reconcile with me. They're going to reconcile with me. They're going to reconcile the invoice that I sent to them. They need to actually pay me for all my work at all their companies. It's not fair that I live in poverty and a billionaire did not pay me for my work. It's not fair that I live below the poverty level and a billionaire refused to pay me for my work. And a millionaire. You're not off the hook, young man. You're not off the hook.
It is going to get weird and messy. If I can get away with it, why not? Because that was a mistake by me to even allow that possibility, but I'm still in a little bit of a tricky spot. See if I can't get away with that. Get away with murder, as they say. I just don't ever want to lose. It makes me sad. I'm doing what I want to do. It doesn't feel good what's happening here. I'm not sure what to do here. Ugh. I'm going to be in big trouble here, basically. I'm probably losing now, but things just got real, as they say. No more counting dollars once push starts coming to shove. That is part of the issue here. And it worries me. Ooh, I'm sexy, right? Listen to me. I'm talking here, and I'm sexy, and listen to me, love. And it's like, oh, right, you are so sexy, love. I'm not sure what to do here. Danger really, really did not help my cause, what just happened there. Oh, that's mate.